So we are here with Miss Vinita Jain, who works in the field of media and advertising. So, Miss, my first question to you is, for those who want to enter the field of advertising and media, would you please tell us more about the career and what kind of career it is, as in the kind of work you're supposed to do, etc.
When you think of choosing advertising, generally there is BMS, there's mass media study and different kind of education, which has really opened up. And today's day and age, I think every field, there's a specialization which you can go ahead and do in every field. So I think for advertising also, there are different kind of streams which one can opt for, and they can study anything. And when it comes to advertising, the name itself has different branches as well. Like when you call advertising, it's not just advertising. In advertising you will have media, you will have creative, you will have digital, you will have outdoor media, you will have production. So there are different branches under one advertising. So when you study any one field of advertising or in advertising as a whole, you can always get into different fields.
Okay, so you spoke about the various fields of advertising. Would you say that each and every field requires a different amount of qualifications or knowledge as such, or would you have to go through the same career path to then select which field of advertising you would work in?
As far as I understand, if you understand the wholesome advertising, that itself encompasses all the other different branches which I have spoken about. So once you understand the complete picture, it becomes easier for you to take care of each and every branch one by one.
So my next question is, for someone who wants to enter the field of advertising and one day reach the same post as you, or like basically do very well in the field, what would you say is the career plan for them, as in like a timeline to where they could reach your post?
There is no shortcut to success in life. It's really very difficult. One has to really work hard. And let me tell you one thing, advertising looks very glamorous. It looks like it's too easy a work. But trust me when I say this, it's too tough a job. It's like not any job which is from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6. This requires, there's no day and night in this job. When it's a client's call, you are have to be there. So it's like you have to be a beck and call of the client. So basically, there's no timeline when you get into advertising. And it is always said, be it in any advertising agency you go, or whoever advertiser, yeah, it's always said that any advertising agency people will always be ready with the presentation. They'll work the whole night, and then tomorrow morning only they'll be able to give a presentation. So that's what advertising is all about.
Now in India especially, advertising is being considered a serious career, whereas I feel in the beginning, or like at least in the past, it was considered a rather carefree profession, though competitive and challenging, carefree and glamorous, as you said. So would you say that in the change is constant, or do you think it's just a temporary change on which
No,
we?
the change is constant and it is here to stay. And nowadays, I think each and every person, even a small startup, the first thing that person looks for is how do I advertise? What do I advertise? How do I get a proper agency? Who's the one who will take me? So advertising is here to stay once and for now, like forever. It's not going to go anywhere else.
For someone who wants to enter the field of advertising and media, what were the qualifications and skill sets that they would have to develop before entering the field? And what skills do you think that would be important for them to learn along the way?
See, for education, what qualification you will require, I had already answered you that. And when you would say that what skills are required, you have to have a lot of patience. You have to be persistent with what you do, and you have to learn to burn midnight oil lamp every night. That's how you, these are the most important skills when it comes to advertising.
So you spoke about how advertising is not a 9 to 5 job, and it's basically just on the back and call of your client. So do you think that this changes over time as you move into a more senior or a management position, or do you think even then that your hours are like uncertain?
The hours are uncertain from I would say from an intern's position to a CEO's position. And I think that answers it all, because everyone has to work really hard in advertising. So be it even if you're in a media field, to submit a plan, it takes a lot of time. If you're in a creative field, you have to take care about the advertising which is going to appear tomorrow in a newspaper. You have to take care about the language translations you have done. Then when it comes to production stage, you have to be very careful about the shootings which you are doing, who are the celebrities, or if you're shooting with a normal person. You have to go ahead and do the editing. You have to take care about how the editing part is happening in a studio. For studios, then there are recordings which is happening in a studio. If you go ahead for billboards and the outdoor media, again, you have to take care where the advertisement is to be placed, which is the place, how you're going to take forward. And then the new trend, or the trend which is the most in thing today in advertising, is the digital advertising. And again, that is also the most important one. You can't get away without digital advertising today. And again, in any digital advertising, you need everything together. You need a creative in place, you need a TVC in place, you need a small a 10-second film or whatever is there, but you need everything in a digital advertising as well. So yes, it's a complete package. It's just not one field which you can focus on.
Okay. So considering that it's such a hectic field and that there are so many things going on, how do you personally make a decision on how to enter this field? Because even today, many students struggle with not only career choices but also subject choices. So what would you recommend that they do to make sure that they choose the right one?
See, I think a person should always be open and try to explore where they are suitable. I don't think so that one should just look at a field that, okay, it's advertising, this is glamorous. Or suppose if you would say some other field, like I would want to go to engineering, I want to do IIT. I think that's not a base for anyone to get into any field. To get into any field, I think a person should go into it, should try how that field is. And if it suits a person, only then one should be consistent with the same.
Okay, thank you. So before I get to my final question, how has the journey been for you in this field? And could you comment on a couple of experiences or anecdotes that you would like to highlight in your journey?
My journey of 16 to 17 years have been wonderful. And when I got into it, I didn't have any official advertising study about it. It was later on that I had done my MBA in media and went ahead, and then I did it. The few things which I would like to still as a student is, okay, there were times when I was in ministries, and I was working for a launch with the Prime Minister of India, and that launch was next day in Calcutta. And at 8 o'clock, I was in Delhi, and there were changes which were happening, which had to be unrevealed tomorrow morning in Calcutta through the hands of Prime Minister. And those were the changes. Imagine those were the last moment changes which we were doing, which had to be taken approval, because without an approval, you cannot go ahead. And we had to work through it. I took a late night flight, and morning again we got into approvals, getting all those matter printed out, and then getting the launch done. So yes, this work in itself requires a lot of hard work from your part.
Okay.
So yes, that is one of it. I would like to highlight it.
What advice would you give in general or even subjectively to students about their career or their lives in general?
I would like to always tell them that focus on what you love. Don't get carried away by what your peers are doing, or get into any parental pressure, because at the end of the day, it's what your gut instinct tell you, or what you really, it's like how we say that it's a calling. Whenever you want to get into something, if you're really attracted to it, and if you have some, like suppose if you want to excel in any given subject, you will work day and night that you need to get these many marks to get the best out of it. It's similar choice for a career. If you really love, and if you love your work, you will never feel that you are into a field of work. You will love your job so much that you would love doing it. So whatever career you choose, always feel that you have an attachment, or you're emotionally bound to the job. That work should not feel as a work. It should feel as a pleasure. It should feel as a hobby. That's when it becomes it should be your first love rather. That's how you can always go ahead with a work.